Okay, welcome everybody to this 41st class. We just finished the review of the 8th chapter through the points to ponder. Now we are going to start the ninth chapter. Ninth chapter is a very important chapter, contains a lot of subtle points, and it is considered a core of the Upanishads. Bhagavan, just like if all the Upanishads are like cows, the Hugda Gopalanandaraha, Bhagavan milks those cows and gives us the essence. It is called Raja Vidya, royal knowledge, Raja Guhyam, royal secret. No, very few people know that. Very sovereign secret, yoga. As usual, we would like to acknowledge Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati for the traditional rendering of Vedanta as it was done for over 1,000 years, starting with Adi Shankaracharya. We'll say a small prayer. Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Salutations to the lineage starting with Lord Sadashiva, with Adi Shankaracharya in the middle, and continuing up to our immediate teacher, Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati. Now, I told you this ninth chapter is a very important chapter. It is in many ways very similar to the seventh chapter. Small differences. If you look at the four portions of the seventh chapter, which you just studied a few weeks ago, and the four portions of the ninth chapter, there's here five portions, but the first four portions are more or less similar. In the seventh chapter, Bhagavan introduces the knowledge and the nature of God with and without attributes. Para and apara prakriti, higher form of God, the pure Brahman, and the apara prakriti, the lower form of God with matter. In the ninth chapter, he only introduces the knowledge of the nature of God without attributes. Nirguna Brahman, without attributes. Then Bhagavan talks about the nature of God, both forms. Um, Here he talks about the nature of God without attributes only. He doesn't talk about the Saguna Ishvara. Remember the two, Apara Prakriti, the lower, and Para Prakriti. So God with form, everything is a lower form of God, because like Krishna can come, Krishna can go, Krishna can die, all that, right? So it is Ishvara, but it's coming as avatara with matter. It is not the pure form of God, which is pure consciousness. Bhagavan then talks about cause and remedy for human samsara in both seventh and ninth. And then he talks about the two types of bhakti based on motives in both seventh and ninth. Why is he repeating? Because it's so important, which is why he introduces in the seventh, then he kind of little takes a digression in the eighth to talk about the Saguna Ishvara Bhakti, comes back to ninth and talks about the same thing. And in the ninth, the extra portion is the greatness of bhakti. And bhakti he will talk about in the 12th chapter. Chapter 8, as we saw, is an odd chapter because it deals with Saguna Ishvara Bhakti, devotion to God with the attributes. Saguna Ishvara Bhakti is inferior to Nirguna Ishvara Bhakti, devotion to God without attributes. Bhakti is introduced in chapters 7, 8, 9, and 12. So, why is this Nirguna, Saguna Ishvara Bhakti inferior? Because, as Swamiji says, when you want God to come on a rescue mission, there is a chance that it won't happen. So when you're relying on something and it doesn't happen, you get disappointed. Whereas when you worship the Nirguna Ishvara, what is the Nirguna Ishvara? It's the consciousness. Where is the consciousness? It is in you. You have full recourse to that. You know that. You know that you are not inferior. You are that consciousness. So you will not be disappointed because you are fully under control. You don't have to have somebody come do a rescue mission. So that is the reason why Bhagavan says it is a superior form. Sadhyo Mukti is also called Jivan Mukti. So this is how you get liberated. instant liberation before death. Um, so bhakti is introduced in 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, and 12. Chapter 8 talks about Krama Mukti. Chapter 9 talks about Sadhyo Muktihi. Krishna prescribes Saguna Upasana as a stepping stone to be utilized. Saguna Upasana will result in Krama Mukti, but it's just a stepping stone. He says, come, we would like more. You can confine to Saguna Upasana for some time, but we would like you to spend more time on Nirguna Ishvara Jnanam, which means Vedanta Shravana Manana Nidithyasana. That is where you have to go. Is what Krishna is trying to say. He's not saying one is bad or anything. He's just saying it's lower form. I want you to come to the higher form. So first topic is Introduction to Nirguna Ishvara Swarupa Jnanam, knowledge of the nature of God without attributes, in the first 3 shlokas. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam tu te guhyatamam Pravakshyamyanasuyave Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam Yajñātvā mokṣyase shubhat. I will declare to you, Pravakshami Anasuyave, which is very important. You are without calumny. You don't criticize me. So Bhagavan says, never talk about this Bhagavad Gita knowledge to one who criticizes. These only talk about it to people who are willing to listen. This is the most secret knowledge, and I'll teach it to you combined with realization, knowing which you will be liberated from the inauspicious. Realization is the nidityasanam part. Okay? Guhyatamam, guhya uttamam. So he's saying, idam tute guhyatamam. I will teach you the greatest secrets. Anasuyave, one who has no envy and does not find fault. Anasuya is also the name of Atri's wife. So Anasuya means somebody with whom you can't find fault. Atri has transcended the 3 gunas. Therefore, his wife, the daughter of Devahuti and Kardama, and she possessed magical powers. So there's a small story. Do you want to listen to a small story? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Everybody, all the devas said, the woman without defect, the best wife, one who has no blemishes, is Anasuya, Atri's wife. All the gods were telling. So then the Trimurtis, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, wanted to test this out. So the Trimurtis, what do? They devise a plan, and they say, okay, let us see whether she is really that pious. And then they go to her, and they said, we are very hungry. And she did not have any food in the homes. And so all these go as like the renunciants. And Atri was out of the home. Usually, Atri has to welcome these people. He was not there. And they kind of play a trick on Anasuya, try to play a trick and say, but you cannot be wearing all this fancy clothes. You have to be humble, and you have to treat us properly and feed us. And then Anasuya does a magic. She, because of her yogic powers, she says, okay, I'll feed all 3 of you. And she makes through her yogic powers, she understands this is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So she makes all 3 of them as babies, and she breastfeeds them. So that way, she also obeys some of the Shastra things, and at the same time, she feeds them. And they bless her, and they acknowledge that she is without any blemishes, such a pure woman. So here Krishna confidently says, Pravakshami, I shall declare. So he says with utter confidence, he's advertising this teaching, like the advanced yoga asanas um, are for demonstration purposes only, Pattabhijaris would say. So all this fancy things is like advertising. Krishna uses the word secret because when you say secret, people get interested. So it gets Arjuna's curiosity. And Krishna is voluntarily teaching. There is no Arjuna Uvacha in this chapter at all. Krishna starts non-stop Krishna's teaching. So personal God with attributes like form is called Saguna Swarupam. It belongs to Apara Prakriti, or the lower nature. The God without attributes beyond time and space is Nirguna Swarupam, belongs to Para Prakriti, or the higher nature of God. Characteristics of Para Prakriti: Nirguna, it is attributeless, no form. Nirvikaraha, changeless, it is constant. Krishna can come and die. Avatars can die, but Nirvikaraha is changeless. Nirvikalpaha, divisionless. You can't say this is hand, this is head, all that. There are no divisions. Chetana Swarupam, it's pure consciousness. Whereas Apara Prakriti is Saguna with attributes. Krishna has nice crown, peacock feather, all that. Then Sapita Vastram, his yellow cloth. Saguna with attributes. Savikara, full of change. Krishna keeps doing mischief, change all the time. Vikalpa, full of divisions or parts. Achetana Swarupam also has a material nature. So the 7th chapter is titled Jnana Vijnana Yoga, Saguna Ishvara, Nirguna Ishvara Jnana. So Jnanam is Saguna Ishvara Jnanam. Vijnanam, special knowledge, is Nirguna Ishvara Jnanam. Saguna Ishvara Jnanam is called Vaitam. It is two. In Nirguna Ishvara Jnanam is Advaitam. God is different, I am different. God is perfect, I am imperfect. God is great, I am miserable. That is Vaitam. But when you realize that there is something in me which is the same as that is in God, it is called Advaitam. That is the consciousness. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitramidamuttamam Pratyakshapagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Apyayam. Bhagavan continues his advertisement. This is Raja Vidya. That's how the chapter gets the name. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. Sovereign knowledge. Vidya is knowledge. Raja Guhyam, sovereign secret. Pavitram, it is the supreme purifier. Uttamam, and it is Pavitram idam Uttamam, it's a supreme purifier. Pratyakshavagam dharmam, it is directly attainable. You don't have to do krama mukti. So, it is dharmyam, it is in accordance with dharma. Susukam kartum avyayam, it is very easy to accomplish. And it is Susukam kartum, very easy to accomplish, and avyayam, it is imperishable. Once you get this knowledge, it is imperishable. So Krishna says Nirguna Ishvara Jnanam is Susukam, easy to understand, accomplished, unlike Krama Mukti, for which you need to do pranayama at the time of death. So it's eternal and imperishable knowledge. In the 4th chapter also, Bhagavan talks about this. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham apyayam vivasvan manave praha manur ikshvakave praveet. I taught this to Vivaswan, the sun god, and sun god taught it to Manu. Evam parampara praptam imam prajarshayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. It had been handed from parampara, from one family to another, to direct succession. But due to passage of time, at some point, this knowledge got lost. So in the 4th chapter, he tells all this. Saevayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratanaha bhakto sime saka cheti Rahasyam hetad uttamam. I'm telling you all this because you're my devotee and my friend. So it's the same sovereign knowledge that Bhagavan advertised in the fourth chapter also. Ashraddhadana purushaha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. So in this shloka, he is highlighting the important qualities needed to understand this knowledge, which are Shraddha and Anasuya. First shloka, he talks about Shraddha, which is faith. And second is Anasuya, not caviling, not finding fault. O scorcher of force, the people who have no faith in this dharma, knowledge, not attaining me, return to this path of samsara, which is fraught with death. So, with that, the introduction to the Nirguna Ishvara Swarupa Jnanam is over. Now, he is going to talk about Nirguna Ishvara Swarupa Jnanam proper. Bhagavan has given an advertisement. Nirguna Ishvara Swarupa Jnanam is also called Raja Vidya Raja Gokya Yogam. So, he highlighted faith in the first three shlokas. Now, in shlokas 4 to 10, he's going to talk about the content. And in Vedanta, Nirguna Ishvara in Vedanta is called Brahman, the consciousness. Bhakti is introduced later as a remedy for samsara. The seventh chapter also has samsara karanam and parigraha. The parigraha, this type of bhakti, is called Vedanta Vichara Rupa Bhakti or Jnana Yoga Rupa Bhakti. So bhakti will also be divided into different types that we'll see later. So now we'll talk about Nirguna Ishvara Swarupa Jnanam. So we have 4 minutes left. So before I will just give the 4th to 10th verse. It's, as I said, Brahma Swarupam, knowledge of nature of God without attributes. Nirguna Ishvara in Vedanta is called Brahman. This portion is the essence of Upanishads, and therefore it is very important. And this part we will do in the next class.